Alright guys, welcome to another video with the CarnalConservative, and this was a submission from one of the people on Discord whom I associate with very closely. We just did a Carnal hour with him this last week. The Russian Ammo Ban. Now when I first saw this, this is courtesy of Regular Guy Guns, when I first saw this, I was like, what the hell does this have to do with us? Russia is not exactly a U.S. ally per se. And then I read the article, and we're going to read it together because this is actually very important information. The article goes on to say that they were going to do a product review, but of course the government had to go do something fundamentally retarded, so hence the article. And they're talking about the forthcoming ban on the import of Russian-made ammunition and firearms imposed by Joe Biden. It's scheduled to kick in on September 7th, 2021 of this year. The executive order drafted by the State Department and signed by Biden this Friday will ban, for a minimum of 1 year, the importation of all Russian firearms and ammunition in the United States. Now, he finds this to be a problem, and to say that it's a problem is understated. He compares this to the Taliban, who have just been nicely equipped with over 600,000 United States weapons and billions of rounds made in the U.S. The Biden regime has not chosen to address that problem, but instead has slapped the American gun owner in its face. Ostensibly, the ban is a sanction imposed to the assassination attempt of Alexei Navalny. Why this is relevant right now to punish Russia in particular, as if Russian imports, or Russian, as if the Russian export of ammunition is enough to cripple them economically. Press X for doubt in the comments if you think that this is in any way going to hurt Russia at large. Hint, it's not. So, within hours of the announcement, brands like Wolf, Talamo, Brown Bear, and so on became scarce on the shelves of ammo retailers. Case in point, he posted a link of some steel-cased ammunition, and by the time he circled back to check, the inventory of those particular rounds and ammunition were gone. They are out of stock. It's a calculated chess move by Biden, or whomever really runs things at the White House, but the devil's in the details. It's not good, but it does present us with some options. Existing permits to import ammo from Russia will still be honored. Typically, steel-cased ammo imported from Russia was seen as a cheaper alternative to traditional brass-cased offerings from domestic and European manufacturers. And of course, if you were into AKs, it really was your only option, as brass-cased weapon bullets of the 7mm, ironically being rare and comparatively expensive. So basically, you remember way back when, during Snowmageddon and COVID, suddenly your ammunition price just shot through the roof, and you had to resort to buying steel-cased ammunition because there wasn't really much else to go with, and the prices for those were somewhat better than the brass. Most of that steel case shit came from Russia, apparently. Apparently, the Biden administration has signed an executive order basically saying all that cheap ammo crap you could have relied on, that is steel case, that you originally did not want to put in your gun, we're now gonna choke it. We're going to strangle it. We're not going to let it be bought and sold in the U.S. because Muh Russia. He goes on. The cheap Russian ammo was a bulwark against domestic shortages and allowed us to easily continue training without depleting our domestic stashes too much. As mentioned with the Biden regime announcement, the Russian supply has essentially dried up overnight for the time being. Online retailers have little to none, and local gun shops are in the same boat. Unfortunately, the next link in the supply chain, the distributors, have suffered the same fate. Because of course they did. In a global economy, shortages are also far easier to enact. This is, sorry to break it to you guys. This is the result of globalization. It means that when a shortage hits, it hits everyone just as hard. There's no localized place where you can get all this stuff anymore. It's all going to run dry because everyone who's shipping globally is shipping globally. Like, you can't just get in a car and go to a specific place and buy all the ammo. The ammo is being exported, or whatever good it's going to be. It's going to be exported around the world, and it's going to spread each individual company or mega corporation thin no matter what. And after September 7th, they cannot apply for new permits to import ammo from Russia for at least a year. Now, as a background, ammunition from overseas has to be approved by the ATF for import. Valid for typically 2 years, this enables U.S. businesses to import ammunition legally. From countries that we're friends with, like most European ones, it's essentially a rubber stamp affair with only routine scrutiny on the paperwork. Russia, of course, is a different story. Prior to the current situation, there were already sanctions and embargoes on Russian munitions, but not as far-reaching as this. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to sum this all up so that we can essentially see the writing on the wall. There's going to be another massive variant that wreaks havoc upon our economy. That this is just a Carnal prediction. There will be another variant that wreaks havoc in our economy. Expect shutdowns, expect bullshit, expect propaganda and riots and all that wonderful jazz. And while that's happening, and all of the American domestic ammunition firms that make all of the primers, make all of the stuff to make this ammunition hits, he's cutting off the steel case supply as well. You cannot go to another type of bullet, even if you don't like it, to get your ammunition. That's what this does in essence, because Russians like steel casings. It's cheaper and they can import it and sell it in America. Okay, so here's where it goes. Even in good times, the allure of steel-cased ammo was simple. It was cheap, it went bang, and even though it wore on your gun more than comparable brass-cased ammo, the logic was if you shot enough steel-cased ammo to notice the difference, you had the money to replace the worn components. And again, if you're into AKs, there was no other affordable choice. That being said, Russia isn't the only country that was cranking out cheap steel-cased ammo. Factories in Romania, Bosnia, Serbia, Poland, Hungary, Croatia, Turkey, and the Czech Republic, and Slovakia all have the ability to turn out steel-cased ammo. Now, what do you notice about most of those other countries? Former communist, and a few of them have gone super based against the EU and globalization. I'm just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. He continues, if you look closely at your steel-cased ammo boxes, sometimes you'll see a different country of origin. Importers in the U.S. often seek out the best deals to supply demand, rather than ally themselves with a specific factory. Also, there's no magic to producing steel-cased ammunition. It's cheap dirt. Oh, yes, never mind. I already read that. No, I didn't. Also, there's no magic to producing steel-cased ammunition. There we go. It's cheap, dirty, and it goes bang. It wouldn't be impossible for an existing U.S. ammo company to dedicate capacity to accommodate the demand. There's plenty of AK shooters out there in our nation, most of whom would be thrilled to purchase domestically produced cheap ammo for their guns. Though in the case of U.S.-based production, the key is primers. And this was something that you also ran into during the ammunition shortage, is let's make my own bullets. Well, to make your own bullets, you need primers. There are only 4 companies, Winchester, CCI, Federal, and Remington, making primers at the moment. The word is they are expanding. Yes, it sucks. What the Biden regime is basically doing is a backdoor form of gun control. I couldn't agree more. They can't lawfully hit U.S. manufacturers since there would be a completely chaotic storm in the courts. But since unfortunately the government can lawfully regulate international commerce, they're hitting the import of Russian ammunition in a move fueled purely by politics and spite. And here's what you can do. Here's why it's important, and here's what all of us who love firearms need to start engaging in. He finishes with, we can fight back by seeking and encouraging alternative sources of cheap ammunition, and of course in the political arena by holding the regime accountable. A percentage of gun holders, both new and old, voted for Biden because reasons. So it's time to do just that. Remember, they work for we the people, not the other way around. Government isn't supposed to be a welfare grift for sociopaths. Now, that is so helpful, hopeful. That's hopeful. That's a lot of that was hopium. A percentage of gun owners, both old and new, did vote for Biden because of reasons. And, you know, I don't see this regime being held accountable to anything. That's why you're referring to them as a regime. What you should do is start investing in your own education and in your own skill set to become gunsmiths, to learn how to make primers yourself and become a legitimate provider and manufacturer of primers and other forms of ammunition. That would be what I would recommend. But, ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling it now. I would look for the next coming COVID lockdown, where ammunition will be restricted, people won't be able to go to American factories, and the supply will essentially run dry, and we will get next to no import steel ammo because Russia is making the lion's share. And the steel case ammo will be just as expensive as the brass for the time being. That's it, guys. I like this. I liked having this be my heads up for the morning. And tell me what you think in the comments. That's it, guys. Stay Carnal and God bless. Bye-bye.